What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. It is Friday. Today's Black Friday, actually, on November 29th. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are looking for them deals today on everything Lorcana, like those gift boxes from Target that we've been seeing, those combo packs. If you're watching the Market Watch, this is the Lorcana Goons channel. If you like this content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're a Lorcana Goon, because it does support, and you can keep up with Lorcana news, meta trends, and card prices. Zach Stone, check this out. We got a new card announcement technically on Monday after I uploaded that Market Watch, because if you subscribe to the gold membership of the D23 club, then you get this cool little package that comes with a bunch of little things. But into this package, you get a new Iago card. It's a 4-cost inkable Iago, 3 strength, 3 willpower that quests for 2, and it says when you have another character exerted, this character can't be challenged. I mean, in terms of meta effect, I don't think the card's too crazy, but the fact that you get a promo card with your D23 subscription is kind of crazy, right? Because those Mickey Mouse cards are selling for like 150 right now.
Yeah, and those Mickey Mouses were handed out for free at the D23 Expo. And this card is a card from set 8. So we are very much getting a little bit of a sneak preview into the future set, not just the next set, the future set. And personally, I think the card has a decent design. Not going to go too much in depth on it today, but the card is a 2 lore quester. And Kevin, I think you and I both know how much characters that quest for 2, how much they can mean in the game.
Yeah, 2 lore questers are pretty strong. Speaking of 2 lore questers, check out this Mickey Mouse Japanese exclusive promo card. This is really cool. If you guys didn't know, Lorcana is about to make its worldwide release. Pretty soon, you're going to be able to find Lorcana in different Asian languages, other languages that we haven't seen yet. Right now, you can pretty much only find it in what, English, German, and is it Italian or French? But you're going to start seeing Spanish cards. You're going to start seeing Japanese cards. This is a promo Mickey that was given out in Japan, and there's a couple listings on TCG Player if you want to find them for at least $100 is what it's looking like. There's probably some on eBay too, so be sure to look out for those. But yeah, Japanese promo Mickey. Looking forward to playing some foreign Lorcana cards. This was the first chapter bundle box that we were talking about. These are available at Target, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if it's a Target exclusive, but for sure I'm seeing everybody find them at Target. If you have been on Facebook or even on Twitter, you can see people posting that they found it at their local Target. You can see people that they've been buying 10s and 20 and 30 of these, just completely clearing the shelves. Some people saying they only took one. Zach, I asked you in the morning, did you go Target hunting for this at all? I loved your response, by the way.
I did not go target hunting this past week when this has been out, and I will not be going target hunting. This is more of something like, I guess not so personal, but just how I felt about going out and looking for something like this. I do remember last year when the first chapter was just released, and we were getting troves and gift sets and blister sleeve packs and targets, and I felt like it turned me into something I didn't like. And again, it's not something that I discredit or feel like strongly against. Like, it was more of a personal thing for me. Like, I didn't want to be that way, and in order for me to get better and improve, I had to limit myself and I had to restrict myself. So I didn't go out and look for any of these things. I stayed at home. I looked on Facebook and saw all the people talk about it, saw all the discourse. So it again, it's not something that is, I would say, I'm so sought after. I'd rather just find the singles or buy them in when they come by at the booth. Shout out to anybody that does visit Kevin and I at our vending spaces. I'm at Frankenstein's Collectible Show, and Kevin is at the Ninja Exchange in Carlsbad. So please, please, please feel free to say hi if you're in the area, and who knows, maybe we'll buy some of these off you.
Yep, I'm going to be there today, actually, throughout the Black Friday weekend. This comes with 4 packs, 2 starter decks, and it retails for around $60. The Black Friday special at Target was selling this for $40, so you are definitely going to find resellers trying to push this to the community at around 60, 70, even 80. I've seen people trying to sell these for at least $100 a pop. I think it's a little ridiculous, like you were talking about, and I'm much more excited to see what's going to happen with these singles from the first chapter in the next couple weeks, months or so, as people start opening those up, and we start seeing more first chapter singles in the market, right? But let's go over some more recent cards. Maui Half Shark Chi Hu ability over here, like you were just explaining to me, Zach. This card is like the most sought after card in the set, going up just a little bit in price for the non-foil. They're now at $35, like confidently. Hefty Cards is the lowest verified, $34.90 right there. But the cold foils, look at this cold foil situation, Zach. There's only one cold foil left. Actually, no, there's a couple. There's four now. There's four listings now. Earlier there was one, now there's four. But lowest verified listing is now $99. $100 for a cold foil Maui Shark is the lowest verified listing. If you want it right now, that's what you got to pay. But look at the recent prices. Look at the most recent prices. $60 is the most recent comp. Before that, $48, so around 50. Then before that, 55, 61, 53, 55. So like personally, if you're in person and somebody wants to sell you this for $100, I don't think there's the data for that. You know what I mean? You got to I think wait to see if anybody actually buys it for $100. You could probably sell it for more than 60, 70 maybe, 75 on a good day. But point is, Maui Half Shark, a very good card in the meta, I guess, but very popular right now. Everybody wants to try this out. And Zach, you just saw Moana 2. Is that making an impact at all on your necessity for wanting a Maui Shark in your collection?
So personally, it's not because of the movie; it's because of the card and its playability. Is why I'm looking for just one more cold foil. So those that are listening that have one for sale, until I get my fourth, I put a $50 bounty as of right now for a copy. So if you got one, you're gonna see me at Frank's. You got a cold foil that you're looking to get rid of. I'll pay you 50, which is $10 less than the one that last sold. But the
There you
half
go.
shark does make an appearance without spoiling too much. You do get to see it every once in a while. And the Chi Hoo is the new song from Maui. So I liked it a lot.
That's really cool. I'm really excited. I need to go check out the movie. No spoilers in the comments, please. I haven't seen it yet, but I will go see it ASAP. We got to talk about Genie, the Genie Weenie Wish Fulfilled over here. One of the best cards in the set, selling for around $11, even more actually. Wow, check this out. Lowest verified is going to be the Forbidden Mountain, $13. They got 17 of them for you. So if you want to buy more than a playset, you can pay $13 each for them, or you can go through some verified sellers like GST Collectibles. He got two of them for you right there, $11.50 with that extra shipping cost. So very similar price though. And lowest non-verified is $11 with a buck shipping by Falling Water TCG. Look at these cold foil situation with this one too, Zach. Only a couple listings. Let's look at the near mints. Only two near mint listings. Lowest non-verified is $29.97 by Lorcana TCG singles, and then SYGO has another one for $65. That's $59.95 with $5 shipping for a rare from this set, by the way. This is a rare card. This is a rare. Hello, look at these recent sales. Oh my goodness. $23, $30, $23, $25, $26, $28. People are really spending almost $30 for this cold foil Genie Weenie. I'd love to see it. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a good time to get your Azurite Sea packs, get your good cold foils, and see what you can hit because a lot of these cards are very expensive in terms of your cold foil rarity. I love the fact that this card is actually at a healthier price for its normal version. $10 to $13 seems to be the average. It does kind of fluctuate depending on the day. So just kind of keep in mind that if you aren't looking to need any of these cards that we're going to mention in the next like month or two, then really consider like how much you're spending for them, and if you're only going to add them to your collection, or if you really need them for a deck for a tournament that's coming up, because that's really going to dictate how much you're spending on these cards today. And as well as the next card we're going to show you from the new set, Calhoun the Goon is still sitting at a $7
Mhm.
price tag, and this card is making its way in a lot of steel decks. Amethyst Steel, Sapphire Steel, and Amber Steel Mine Dwarf decks are pretty much dominating most of my local scene. And this card is a pretty solid stat card. Its ability is just a Robin Hood, like a mini Robin Hood with its resistibility. I think it's very strong card. I think we're pretty much we know what a two cost should be if it's going to be good, and at least something that has three strength and can survive a two damage action is going to make its place in the meta.
Yep, lowest verified for your cold foils are going to be by Games and Cards, 1547 with a buck 50 shipping. Calhoun the Goon, pretty good in a lot of the steel decks, like you were saying, because basically it stops the aggro decks from questing, ignorantly, willy nilly, I like to say. Because then if you do quest, you put yourself in a position to lose some value there. And I've even seen some Amethyst steel decks play Pinocchio Talkative Puppet to exert opposing characters, or some other cool cards to help exert opposing characters like that. Lilo, the Escape Artist from Azurite Sea, still selling for $7. Probably the best super rare you can pull from the set. Not too shabby. Hasn't been seeing too much meta play, but definitely is being seen in Amber Steel decks, which is nice. Shuffled Realms has them for 1470 with $2 shipping if you want a cold foil. So more than $15 for each cold foil on that one. Lucky Dime. A lot of these cards are starting to kind of mellow out in price a little bit. Oops, this one's still going to be $12.50 though, with shipping included by Media Men over here. Cold foils are going to be a little bit cheaper than that. Near mints are $17.99, $18, $20 by Skynet, a little bit closer down the bottom. These were like more than $20 at one point for cold foil Lucky Dimes. So seeing them as low as like $17, $18 is pretty crazy to me. But I have been seeing a lot of deck lists switch from 2 Lucky Dimes to only 1 Lucky Dime now, which is very interesting. We got Baymax, the Armored Companion, another good card from Azurite Sea. I'm honestly surprised that this is maintaining its price of more than $10. I thought this was going to flop. I figured this card was going to come down to $5, like a lot of the other legendaries. I don't see too many people playing this card, but it's Baymax, right? So lowest verified is 1090 with a buck 27 shipping by Tropical Trooper right there. And if you want a cold foil Baymax, they're $15. Not too bad. 1498 with a buck 22 shipping by Morocco's Card Shop. I think you're better off just paying this price if you're going to pay 12 to 10 to $11 for a non-foil. Just pay 15, 16 for a cold foil. He's a legendary, right? And Zach, you were just saying how his stats are kind of weird, but the more you think about it, the more the meta progresses. Baymax is actually a decent card, right? I wish he was a shift character though. That would have been awesome. Look at these. Look at this first chapter cards coming down in price very quickly. We have Light Plate Whole New Worlds, four of them listed by Heaven Games right there. Near mint is going to be $8.40 with $1 shipping by Next Level Games Munchie. Okay, cool. So now they're less than $10 for the non foils and cold. Wow, look at these cold foils, bro. These just tanked. What is going on here? They have a non-verified for $14 with a buck shipping by Inkvault, and they have 4 of them for you. That's a pretty good price. $17.50. Yeah, these are less than $20 now for the cold foil Hono Worlds. Interesting.
Definitely, and I think what we talked about in the beginning with that gift set from the first chapter, kind of restocking some of these singles that we've been in low quantities of for a very long time. I like that price of a whole new world because it's still floating around $10, which I've always felt like this card should be around that price. And the cold foils, maybe there's just less people that need cold foils for their collection or need cold foils for their play sets, and you're starting to see more sales for the normal ones rather than the cold foil ones. But just keep in mind, guys, that the cold foils definitely hold their value. And just like in this one, the cold foil hero to all Mauis, those can be up to like $20 in comparison to a $10 foil. So just kind of always remember that like a double up is always a good reference point, right? And this card still sees play in red and blue decks. Maui Hero to All is the classic staple from the first chapter set. And who knows, maybe people will decide to not play like 4 copies right now, maybe down to 3 or 2, but this card's still very good. And we have seen location decks kind of take over in the past few weeks during some testing days. So this card is still a clean answer to locations.
Yeah, location decks can be kind of a menace, and anytime I play against a location deck, I'm very grateful to have Maui's in my deck. You can find them for less than $10, which is great because last month they were $15. Iron and Finch has the non-foils for $9.55, almost $10. Be prepared. Also, kind of coming down in price this week. It used to be $10 last month. Now you can find them for $8.65 by MNF Friend Me right there. Less than $9 for your Be Prepares from the first chapter. Cold foils still pretty expensive, which is good to see if you've been collecting cold foils. They did come down a little bit from that $35 range to closer to $25 here by Skynet. 2319. It's a 2319 code 2319 right there. It's going to be the price shipping in colluded. Love to see that. If you didn't know that reference, to get out of my channel. No, I'm just kidding. Beast Tragic Hero today is gonna be what is it, 37.34 with $1.75 shipping. Our pre-con has your Beast Tragic Heroes, aka Sad Beast, right there, lowest verified, and Cold Oil Beasts are still pretty expensive, even though they were $70 and have been coming down for the last couple weeks. You could still find them for $61.99, lowest verified by TBH Games. Love to see that. They got three of them for you. Yeah, but definitely coming down in price. Check this out. These were selling for easily more than 70 during like peak Emerald Steel October format. And but I mean, $62 isn't too much of of a difference. Only lost in $10 value. But if you're trying to pick up Cold Foil Beasts, this is the cheapest I've seen them in a minute, personally. Rapunzel gifted with healing from the first chapter. Still pretty expensive. I was hoping this would come down alongside some of the other first chapter cards because I want Rapunzel's, but nope, none less than $40 still. Lorcana Unbox is lowest verified with $42.50, and they have four of them for you. You get a whole playset right there. Not too bad. Cold foils are going to be still pretty expensive, but have been coming down in price. We have some non-verified sellers like Inkvolt, $61 with $1 shipping. That's a pretty good deal, and they have four of them compared to the lowest verified, which is a couple listings down for $68.47 and $1 shipping. Almost $70. So like 62 to 70, that's a pretty big price, a big chunk of money to save if you want to go to a non-verified seller. Jim Hawkins, Space Traveler, still doing pretty decent in this new location kind of format. I feel like a lot of people are trying out location decks, but I haven't seen a lot of red-yellow success in any of these tournament meta reports that I've been watching and or doing on the channel itself. But lowest verified is still $10.45, shipping included by hefty cards for your non-foil Jim Hawkins, which is pretty good. And cold foils are going to be almost $20, $18.38 by Skynet, and then $17.41, $1.50 shipping by Clever Bay Gaming. Zach, is no one trying this card? Like I thought red yellow was going to be the goo.
The amount of people that came by and bought like play sets of this card, like the weeks leading up to Azurite Sea, I want to know where you guys are at right now. How are you guys doing? Because this card does not see any play, and I haven't seen any location decks kind of take off. Like we're looking at the Pixelborn tournament going on this whole week, and none of those deck lists included this card. I haven't seen any red yellow lists like pop up with this card yet. Who knows? Who knows if this is kind of widely accepted as just being like overhyped, right? Because in the very beginning of this card's release, so many people were jamming this in the red purple decks. Being able to play the Queen's Castle and move a character for free was really good. But who knows, right? This is still a card that says free twice, quest for two, and it has the magic number 4 as its stats. So I'd hope Jim Hawkins gets more play. I hope it does too. Just like this card, Clarabelle, light on her hooves. It is a 20. It looks like a $20 cold foil, right? And so I think the normals are no more than $15, $16, and that just means buy the cold foil versions, guys. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people decide to not buy cold foil versions of cards like this or similarly priced cards, and they come to regret it. I think the one that we always remember talking about was the Shift Robin Hood from set 3, how the cold foils were literally just $4 or $5 more, and this one's looking at it's in the same path. So how long that's going to maintain, I'm unsure of. And if I was in the market for this card and I needed copies for my deck, I would just buy the cold foils. I wouldn't even bother buying the normals at that price. And
Yeah.
spending the extra $4 or $5 and get a cold foil version that will probably retain a lot longer of a value. Now, I do want to digress and say that this is not the highest rarity version of this card. It is not. The Enchanted version does exist, so that is a big consideration. It could actually have an effect on why the cold foils are the way they are.
That's true. That's a very good point. Very good point. Still pretty. It's a nice cold foil though, and Clarabelle's actually seeing a lot of play in the green purple deck. So very something to take into consideration. Tinkerbell, Giant Fairy from the first chapter. Look at this. Somebody has 10 of them ready for you. Hefty cards, $6.90 right there. They have 10 of them. If you want to get any of your Tinkerbells, they're going to be $7 for the non-foils. This definitely came down in price a lot this week because they were easily selling for more than $10 close to the beginning of the month, and now they're slowly hitting that $7 mark. Cold foil Tinks also coming down in price. Wow, this kind of hurts me as a vendor because look at this, $20 as low to as low as $16.95 has them for $15.99 with shipping included, and they have two of them for you. So if you want your giant Tinkerbell foils instead, you can get them for around $17. And same thing, this isn't the highest rarity because you can get the Enchanted Tinkerbell, but that Enchanted Tinkerbell is always going to be like more than $200 now, I think. We have the Queen's Castle, definitely coming down in price. These are really cheap. 525 by Elfin's Cards. I remember when this card was more than $10 for the non-foil. Cold foils are going to be not too expensive still. They were like $15, but now they're going to be $12.67 with the $1.27 shipping. So they haven't come down too much. And then we have another non-verified seller that has 4 of them for you right there, ready to go. Doc Bold Knight, very important card in the meta. I feel like everybody who's playing an aggro deck is using Doc today. And no wonder why they're going to be $5 to $6. 445 with $1.27 shipping by PPK Gaming. They only have 1 of them for you. So you got to go through multiple sellers. And then next we have Artist Q. They have 4 of them for you right there if you want to stick to the same seller. 446 with some extra shipping costs. Cold foils though for this card. Check this out. There's only 4 left, and they're going up the same way Genie was apparently. These were $15 when we looked at them last Friday, Zach. Now, lowest verified is $17.42, shipping included. Then the next person is Wonderland Market. They have them for $25, shipping included. They have 2 of them for you. And if you want a playset, you gotta pay $35 each plus $5 shipping by SYGO for your cold foil Doc Bold Knight. Wow, Zach, do you have any cold foils of these?
I have my 4. I kind of I got really lucky. There was a time where I just had 3, right? And I'm going through some bulk foils of mine, and I'm just like I'm just gonna organize these because I'm trying to catch up and get everything organized at the booth. And I found my 4th, and I found a 5th copy while going through bulk foils that I thought were bulk, and I just didn't go through them quite thoroughly the first time. So I got my 4. This is a very good card, and I've always liked the idea of this card being played. Now, in the beginning, when I didn't know how cards worked, I thought you had to discard at least 1 card to be able to draw 2. But once I found out you needed to discard nothing, I was sold. I knew that this card was going to see play eventually, and it is sitting at a nice price point in terms of competitive play. So I like seeing cards that definitely weren't even thought about or considered kind of come out and show face. And then, Kevin, if you thought that this card was bad in the beginning, then shame on you.
I mean, I definitely didn't think it was bad. Like it says draw 2. You have to consider that in anything. But it's a good card, and if you've played other card games, you've seen this kind of strategy before. And it's cool because you can shove like 1 or 2 copies of Doc into like a non-aggro deck. Like we've seen people play 1 copy in Emerald Steel, like 2 copies in Amber Steel. It's just a really good way to like reload your hand. Also, like in like a top decking situation, right? So pretty good card. If you especially if you have cold foils, they're really expensive right now. I mean, I would consider getting rid of them because I'm sure there's going to be more on the market eventually. Elsa, the Fifth Spirit. This is a card that comes in the starter deck. The non-foils are going to be like $5-6 though, which is really cool to see. Crazy deals, that's them deals. 457, $1.27 shipping right there for that. Cold foils, like I said, they come from the starter deck, so they're not going to be too much more expensive than the non-foils anymore because there's a gang of starter decks running around. But they're still going to be $7.72 by GNC Pair of Dice, almost $8. That's some pretty good value, especially if you're finding starter decks at MSRP, which is like $16. The 1 foil from the starter deck pays for a lot of that starter deck, and you get a free pack in that deck too, which is kind of cool. So another starter deck card that's very good in the meta is Go Tamago. Shout out Lorcana, by the way, for giving like actual good cards in the starter decks, because that's very important, right? I wish they'd give like more than 1 copy though, because this card's pretty good. Lowest verified for a non-foil is going to be Up North Cards, 277 with the $1.27 shipping, so around $3. And then foils are still going to be at least $9.49 shipping included. CBG Cardboard Games has them for $9.50, and they have 2 of them for you, so you can get them both for $18. Another great way to secure some extra value from your starter decks if you have any. Diablo, Obedient Ravens, these are going to be at least $1 plus extra shipping. In my opinion, I'm valuing these at $2. Like if you want to make trades with me and you want my uncommon Diablos, to me, they're as important as Turnabogs, Smees, Diablo, like Flynn Rider. Like they're all there. They're all $2 uncommons now. And they're really hard to pull. Like from my ratios of pulling boxes, I pull like 1 or 2 per box. Maybe. Cold foils, it's impossible to find. But the cold foils are going to be around 10. Ooh, wow, they went up 10.16 now. Atomic Games has them lowest verified shipping included. So now at least $10, and it looks like they're going to keep going up a little bit. Same thing with Pluto Guard Dog. Love to see this. An opening week of Azurite Sea, I went on TCG Player and I was looking for a bunch of sellers that had a bunch of cold foils that had multiple listings, and I bought multiple listings of Diablo, Pluto, a couple like a couple uncommon sale, ready your bot. A bunch of sellers had like six of them, and so I just bought them all, and they were like 3, 4, maybe even $5. $5 was like my limit because I felt very confident about these cards. And look at that, like Pluto Guard Dog, such a good card this meta. $7 for the non-verified Ravens Inc. Cold foil with the dollar shipping. Lowest verified is now Super Games Inc. $10 shipping included. So if you guys want to get rid of some of these cold foils right now, they're pretty hyped up in my opinion, and they're very relevant in the meta. Sale the Azurite Sea, selling for as low as $7 for non-verified by Knight's Turnips. If you want a verified seller, we have Wolf Den Gaming, $7.69 with $1.27 shipping, so around $8 to $9 for your foil. Sale the Azurite Seas. Cold Foil Merlin Goats. I wanted to keep track of these because I feel like a lot of people are playing decks that can let you burst lore with the White Flower and the Goat. And these haven't been going up in price too much. They were more expensive at one point, closer to $10, and today you can find them for $8.73. Level Up Games, shipping included for your Merlin Goats. And then I wanted to go over Simba Future King because a lot of people, including Frank Karsten, are playing the Simba Amber Steel deck. If you want to check out Frank Karsten pilot that deck against Kendall Burdett, no, I'm not. You can tune into the stream today for the Pixelborn Cross Continental Tournament that's being hosted by Speci. I get to cast that with him, so that's going to be really exciting. You're going to see this played today on that stream because Frank Carson is playing Simba Future King since the beginning of November, going up in price just a little bit to as high as $1 with some extra shipping costs. But it's looking like it's going to stay around there, maybe around a $2 cold foil. Zach, do you think it's going to stick around that price?
Well, I don't think it's going to go up egregiously, personally. This is just a card that I think a lot of people have copies of, and they may not need them. It's also just something that comes from the first chapter, and we did see that restock in the gift set. So we will have more copies and cold foils versions of this card in the market, and it doesn't see play outside of that deck, and it hasn't really seen much play outside of now as of recently. So it's not something that I think will go up egregiously. But again, for $1, you can't go wrong buying this card. And the worst thing that could happen is you have to sell it for $1 again. So you kind of just make your money back. Same thing with these Enchanteds that we're going to go over. At least this one right here, the Sisu Empowered Sibling. I think this card's been going down, right? Because I've seen it be as high as $180, $190 a copy, and we're seeing very few listings kind of reach that point. I think the highest is our lowest is at 130 by Finch and Sparrow. And shout outs to you guys. You are an LGS in the SoCal area. So these are just enchanteds that I know that we'll can keep seeing play because of how good this card is. But I'm not too sure how well the price will stay where it's at because it's going down. More and more people aren't needing copies anymore, and that becomes a big thing in TCG markets because if you don't have people to sell this to, then it's not going to sell at the price it is, and it drives the price down, and it gets a little frustrating when you've collected and had these cards and spend a lot more money. But just remember, if you're collecting, that this is something that you will have for yourself. It's not about how much you're spending, it's about how you got it and the journey it took to get there.
Love it. Collectors unite. If you want to pick up some other enchanteds that have been going up in a price, or price differently, in Long Came Zeus is looking like it's going to be $150 now. Ooh, actually more than that. The 150 by Mordos is the lowest non-verified, and lowest verified is now 170 by Hourglass Shop. And some recent sales data too right here, 130, 140, 145. That's what people have been paying for the Along Came Zeus this week and last week. Not necessarily 150 yet, but we'll see if these sell. I can see this 150 selling from this non-verified seller, obviously before this Hourglass 170. But hey, Along Came Zeus, another enchanted you might want to look out for. That's seeing a lot of meta play. I think a lot of steel decks need to combat the Genie Weenie somehow, and Along Came Zeus can get rid of it in one shot, right? So that's pretty cool to see. First chapter booster boxes. I want to keep monitoring these but we've been seeing like first chapter get restocked now during this Black Friday weekend. And if you want a first chapter booster box sealed, you're still gonna have to pay more than $300 though, at least on TCG Player. We have TCG Empire Arizona 315 shipping included, and that's what sticks around at. Everybody has a bunch of them after that at around that $300+ price, and it's looking like people have been paying more than $300 for their first chapter booster boxes. Just today, somebody bought one for 315. Actually, what is this? Four of them Four of them were bought for 315 today. Wow, okay. Another one for 302, 315. Somebody bought one for 250 on the 28th. That's a very good deal right there. So yeah, maybe these will continue to go up in price because people want sealed boosters. Maybe they won't. I'm not sure. Hopefully we get an announcement whether or not they're going to keep printing or not the first chapter. So that's going to be very interesting to see. And the D23 gift boxes, I feel like have been coming down in price just a little bit. Lowest verified is now 292. These were selling for more than 300 at one point, closer to like 320, and now you can see some more sales happening at 280, 299, 285. So I'm still going to be holding on to mine. I feel like this is a pretty cool collector's set. It hasn't even been a year. It's been only a couple months, and the price has tripled basically. But yeah, what do you think, Zai? How do you feel about first chapter and the D23 collections?
About first chapter, and this is not to like take away anything from those that have been holding this long term. Just remember, they have not announced when they will stop printing the first chapter. They will announce when they ever decide to discontinue printing sets. They have not made an announcement. So there is a world where they keep printing or keep having these booster boxes available. We've seen them in the prize wall of the DLC events. We've seen them allow distributors to order them during set championships. So just remember about the volatility in these kind of markets. And when you are going for sealed product, I think it's definitely more rewarding to go for things long term. We are looking at the D23 promos jumping from $100 MSRP to about $300 on the secondary market. Now, that's a quick flip if I've ever seen one. If that's what you're in here for, you have to take advantage of these while they're around. And if you're not, then you have to be long term about it. If you sit there and try to play the game of, when to get the most out of it or not, if you really are thinking about what you can do with that money, and if it's something more urgent that you need to use to pay for bills, you have to remember that going long term with product will reward you more in the future. If you could just sit there, set it and forget it and not worry about it, then that's going to reward you in the long run. And if it doesn't end up going up or it doesn't hit that point, you know, accepting your loss or keeping it for your sealed collection is probably what would make more sense. But again, if you are ever in need of bills to be paid, or you got some Christmas shopping to go around this time of year, then sell these and get your quick money and go out and buy those gifts.
Love it. I hope you guys have an awesome holiday season. I hope you guys have some awesome gifts to give. Thanks again for watching the Lorcana Goons weekly market watch. We do these every Friday and Monday. Zach joins me every Friday. I do them by myself on Monday, a much shorter version. So if you like this content, like, comment, and subscribe. We want to say a big thank you to anyone who supports the channel. You can buy sleeves from pristineprotectiontcg.com to support us and use code Goons10 to save 10% on your order. There's a bunch of Black Friday deals, so maybe they have one too. TCG Player has a Cyber Weekend sale this weekend, so shout out TCG Player for that. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if you like this content, be sure to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons for more. Thanks again for anyone who has been keeping up with the channel. Me and Zach really appreciate it. We just had a Thanksgiving holiday, and I don't know where we would be this year without the Lorcana Goons community. So from Zach and I, we really do appreciate you, and big thank you. Remember to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons, and we'll see you goons next time.